Wilson-Felis, and this is a beginner, all levels yoga class for the community partnership in Woodland Park. And so this will be all levels, and I want everyone to just pay attention to how their body is feeling as we move today, and make sure not to push your body into pain at all. So if your body doesn't feel right going into some positions, or there's pain or discomfort that's beyond breathable, then make sure to honor that within your body. So I have a mudra today, and it's really simple and fun, and it's about your metabolism. It's about our digestion and the inner fire within our belly. So what you do is you make a fist, and your thumbs are going to kind of reach for your middle finger knuckle. We're going to extend our index finger here. So index finger extends. Then we bring the knuckles together, and the thumbs, they might slightly touch, and your index fingers are going to touch too. So in front of my chest, so you can see that at home. And so what you can look down and see is your knuckles represent almost like the wood, and your index fingers are the little flame of a campfire. So you can see all the kindling down here, burning, and then your index fingers are the flame. And so I like to just let that rest. If you're laying down, you might rest it on your belly, or just let your hands rest by your sides if that's what's suitable for you. And so what this does is it creates this energy in our belly, which we were also working with last week with the Surya Mudra. And so it's going to work with our metabolism. And so as we breathe, you might focus on your belly. As you inhale, feel your belly expand, make room. And as you exhale, contract and compress, almost like you're condensing your belly to really push all that breath out. And so just keep on breathing at your own pace, filling the belly with breath, making room for your organs. And then exhaling and compressing that air out, compressing on the organs a little bit. Let's sit up tall, or if you're laying on the ground, roll your shoulders down from your ears, lengthening your neck. Gently push your chin back towards your throat so that the back of your head lifts up slightly, the back of your neck lengthens. Now it is, as we do this class, as we record this, it's August 1st, so it's the first day of the new month. And for some of us, that's a really good time to set some intentions or some goals, or maybe just make sure that you're staying on path for those goals that you've created in the past. So as we breathe, perhaps you think of a couple of those things, and maybe for today, it's just learning to let your body relax. Perhaps we have goals of getting stronger in our body, removing pain, whether it's physical or in other ways. For some of us, we're losing weight, and maybe that's not physical weight. Maybe it's some other facet of life. And so as we think about our metabolism, the way that we burn calories and burn food for energy for our body, burn fat. Think about the campfire. When I had a personal trainer, he taught me about this. And so the campfire, your metabolism in your belly, as you feed it throughout the day, we don't want to starve the campfire. We need to continuously feed it so that it continues to burn. So try not to starve that campfire, but also don't smother it with too much. And so as we're here and we're breathing and making room for that flame to ignite, compressing a little bit as you exhale, feeling that expansion and contraction of the belly as you breathe. You may also start to ignite some heat in your body, especially as we start to move through the practice today. If you're ready to, and your hands are starting to tell you it's time to let go, then make sure to do that. this process of yoga, this session is about you and your body and what feels right for it, for you. So if I'm moving too slowly or too quickly for your body, then please make sure to honor, close your eyes, and do what works for you. So I'm going to start with just some cat and cow seated while I'm here. I'm going to just roll my hands down onto my knees and start to lean forward. As I lean forward, I feel it through my legs. As I lean back, I can feel it through my low back, through my ribs. And I'm going to try to kind of link that with my breath, inhaling forward and exhaling back. And you might be doing something different with your body, and that's okay. So just match it with your breath. One way is inhale, and the opposite way is exhale. Adjust whenever you need to in your practice. So if your body is saying, that's not working for me, then change something, try it again. And if it still doesn't feel right, try it a different way. So for me here, I'm crisscrossed in my legs. For some of us, that's not very comfortable, so you might need to lengthen those legs out. Now, I've been doing this for a couple rounds, so I'm going to switch my legs. Right now, my right leg is on top, so I'm going to take my left leg and switch it and see if I like that way better. I don't. I liked the other way better. So that's the thing about this is like we're going to have one side that's like your good side, and then the other side feels a little awkward. But it's good to do it on the awkward side too, just so that it becomes normalized for your nervous system. Nice work. Now, if you need to switch back to the way that you liked it before, go ahead and go back to that. And I'm going to add a side-to-side motion as well. So I'm going to rock from side to the right, to the left. And remember, as we're doing this, feeling into your waist, feeling into your back. Don't go too far. Maybe you only shift a tiny little bit, so that you're not feeling so much sensation in your body. Maybe it's just a little rocking, a little engagement. Nice work. So remember, these moves can be big and dramatic, or they can be small and controlled. I'm going to start adding a big circle. So I'm going to come forward here, forward to 12 on the clock, or maybe it's 6 for you, over to 3, 9, back to the bottom of the clock, over to the side, and back up to 12. So we're just making those 4 directions. Notice sometimes I close my eyes just to feel into my own body. And then you can smooth this out if you'd like to. But again, keep it small. If your back is feeling any of this, it's feeling it in a negative way. Nice work. Now let's match our breath. As you inhale, come forward. As you exhale, go to the back of the circle. Nice work. Switch it up when you're ready. Go the other way. Switch your legs. Inhaling to one direction. I inhale as I come forward, and I exhale as I go back towards the back of my body or the back of my yoga mat. Nice work. And if your body is just like, I don't like this one, you don't have to keep up just because I'm telling you to. And when you're ready, it's just like a washing machine centrifuge. Sometimes I open it a little too early and it's still spinning, and then it comes back to center and finally stops. All right, so let's kick these legs out, give our hips a little break so our legs will extend. Flex and point your toes a couple times, roll your ankles a couple times. Nice. Now this is not my favorite pose because my pelvis wants to posteriorly tilt and I just want to like chill backwards. So it's hard for me, and I'm going to challenge myself to really sit up tall and engage through I call it cinching the waistband, but engaging through the sides and the front and the back of the core. We'll lift up tall and try to stay nice and straight as you just lean forward. Let your hands come down to your shins or your knees. You can certainly bow your head and round your back into this pose, or trying to maintain the straight back is another version of a pose. Similar pose, different name, very similar in feel. You can feel it behind your knees, behind your hamstrings and your thighs. Try to relax your shoulders and your head and your jaw. And if you're feeling it somewhere and it doesn't feel good, back off just a little bit. Make it so that it does feel a little less intense. Let's take one more big belly breath. Ignite that metabolism with your breath, and then we'll start to roll back up to seated. You're doing great here. All right, so notice that every pose that we go into is kind of like a full body pose. Even though we do have a target area, there are other areas where you may be feeling it too. So from there, we're gonna work the legs a little bit. So right leg straight, left knee bends. And then I'm gonna rotate to the right foot. You can slide right down that leg. I always like to take the big inhale first and then fold over top. So it's really up to you. You don't have to reach your foot. One hand on either side of that leg so that you can gently slide back a little bit if you need to. So again, the target area is behind your right knee, but if you're feeling it elsewhere, you may need to back up or adjust or slightly tilt a little bit from side to side just to feel different areas and notice where it would feel best in your body. So let's take one or two or more deep breaths and feel that belly expand. Send the breath to the back of the thigh or really wherever you're feeling it in your body. Great work. And we'll start to roll it back up to center. All we're going to do is just slide our right foot out to the right here, make some space. So if you've got a block handy, you can always put the block right there in between your foot and thigh. Sit up nice and tall and just lean forward a little bit. Some people can go a lot of it. So just going as far as you can. I feel it really deeply in the inner right thigh. So that's our target zone here. And if it becomes too much, you're feeling it in your back or anything like that, maybe you need to back up, maybe you need to shift your torso a little bit from side to side and adjust the position. So those are kind of my three tattvas of yoga. The tattvas are like the rules or the steps. So the first step is find the pose. And then the second step is adjust the pose to your liking. And the third step is breathe. And that third one can be hard because that means we have to stay put for a couple more moments and send one more breath. And sometimes our mind is like somewhere else thinking about other stuff. And that's okay. That's distraction. It's not a bad thing. The mind was made to think. Now we're going to roll back up. And we're going to go sideways. So careful with this left side of your back. The right hand will reach down the right leg. The left hand reaches out back. We might just reach up to the sky. Maybe that's enough stretch for this left side. If you want to go further, you can start to lean towards the right. You want to relax your right elbow, relax your right shoulder. Either look straight ahead or up past your left arm. Nice job. Looks good. Alignment looks beautiful. Let's take that deep breath. And then we'll slowly reach that left hand up, engage through that left side, and pull yourself back to center. We're going to bend our right knee and bring it into Sukhasana or cross-legged. So we want to try to have our right leg in front or our right leg stacked on top so that when we go to the other side, it's the left leg. We're going to just take our hands right in front. For some of you, you might be like, yep, that's good. If your legs are high, it's hurting your knees, maybe your feet are doing this kind of stacking position. So I've got my right foot flat and straight forward, then my left. Maybe you need to come to center in Baddha Konasana instead, with the feet together and the knees apart. It doesn't really matter if your knees are high like this unless it's hurting your knees. Okay, so if it's hurting your knee, okay, then don't do it. Or lean into the knee that you're feeling it in. So if you're like, oh, I really feel that in my right knee, then lean into that right knee and you're gonna take that rotation and put it into your upper leg bone, your femur, rather than the knee joint. For some of us, a little rock from side to side feels good here. It's really good for our sacrum, our lower back. Nice work. When you're ready to, go ahead and peel yourself up, roll yourself back up to center. Kick those legs out, wiggle them out a little bit. Let's do it on the other side so our left leg will stay straight and our right knee is going to bend this time. And if your knee is just like, nope, I don't like to do that today, then you can send your right leg out of the way and focus on the left. So we'll take that big inhale up to the sky, lengthen your upper body, and then folding right over top. Reaching your forehead down for your leg. It's called head to knee position. So it doesn't matter if you can reach your foot or your ankle or your knee or on the floor. We're just trying to bow our head down towards the leg. A couple of those deep breaths. Make adjustments if you need to. Beautiful work. And as we take our third or fourth deep breath here, we're staying for this extended time and letting those muscles create that length. You're welcome to stay even longer if you like. Roll it up whenever your body says that's enough for now. We'll send our left leg out to the side here. It doesn't have to be that far, even just like an inch is totally fine, but I usually like to go until I feel a gentle stretch. I'm going to sit up nice and tall and just lean forward here. I only have to lean forward about half an inch before I really feel that stretch engage, and it's really tight today. So I'm just going to hold it here, take a couple of those deep breaths, try to close my eyes so that I can relax the nervous system. The longer that your outward breath or your exhale breath is, the more that we soften the nervous system and create space. Nice work. Roll it up, and we're going to add that side bend here. So it's called revolved head to knee position. Our left hand reaches down the left leg, right hand reaches out to the right, maybe up to the sky. Maybe for some, that's enough stretch here. If there's any discomfort on the left side, maybe just stop there and let your body adjust. Keep going if you need more, sliding down the left leg, relaxing the left elbow, the left shoulder. Right arm is doing the work here. Don't forget those deep breaths, the belly breath. So feel your belly expand and contract for one deep breath. Bring it up whenever you're ready to. You don't have to wait for me. So listening to your body. Now I am going to bring us back to Sukhasana, but if you're like, I don't like crisscrossed, then you can go straight legs straight out and do another forward fold. We're going to do a Sukhasana fold. So the left leg is stacked in front or on top of the right ankle. And then we'll start to just lean forward. Try to get your tailbone to almost lift so that it's in your pelvis where this tilt is happening. We want a tilt to happen. Tailbone lifts towards the back wall. Sits bones have less pressure on them as our pelvis is tilting forward. For some of us, that takes so long to just learn about those pelvic tilts in the body. So let's start to roll ourselves up. We're going to join all of you with straight legs and kick our legs out as well. So if your legs are together, let's separate them a little bit so that they're a little wider than they were originally or what you would normally go to. And we'll try to do that same thing. So sitting up nice and tall, I have to work on my pelvis because I just want to roll backwards, and instead I want my pelvis to roll forwards. So I'm going to try to lift up and let my belly, my heart be the weight that leans forward. Maybe the hands come in between the feet. I know some of you will create more leverage by grabbing on to like the outsides of the feet and almost pulling those heels back into the hip bones. Nice work. We're learning how to move our body here. So if it's a little unnatural, that's okay. We're learning. Let's roll it back up and do the opposite. Hands are going to reach back behind, open up through your chest. I'm going to turn to the side here. So beginners, you'll just kind of open your chest. If you're wanting to put some pressure on your hands here, then start to squeeze your butt, push into your heels, and point your toes down. But it puts so much pressure on your hands and your elbows. So if there's something going on there and it doesn't feel good, don't push into it. Bring yourself back to seated and come to your favorite seated position. So this is good. I'm going to challenge myself to sit with straight legs because I am not good at it and I don't like it. I don't like it. All right, let's do some shoulder work. I'm going to kind of skip over this area today because we've got some folks with low back stuff going on and I don't want to overdo it. But you'll notice even when we did this move, like we're stretching through here. So you're going to get that anyway. So hands down on the mat, slide them in so that they're maybe on the mat next to you, because I know most people sit vertically on the mat. So right hand is going to be kind of snuggled up right next to you. Left hand is going to reach up. Nice. All I'm going to have you do is bend that arm, that right arm, and lean your head. So it's not so much of a side body. I'm feeling it more in my neck than I'm feeling in my side body. So I'm staying upright through the core, and just my rib from about armpit to head to neck is leaning over to the right. Nice job. So it's a lot of control. Let's bring it back up to center and try it on the other side. So I'm just going to bend my right elbow back a little bit, lowering that shoulder, reaching up through the right arm, and then leaning through my neck, maybe from the upper ribs over to the left. Don't forget to breathe. So it should be pretty gentle as we begin, and we'll bring ourselves back up. Connect through that right hand, and we're going to go back to the left with our head. Yeah, so right hand is the anchor. You can even walk those fingers out off the mat if you need to. That's going to increase the stretch. Other ways that you can change this is sweeping your left hand up to your right ear. Or that's too much for me, so I'm going to go back to just a kind of softened, relaxed reminder. My left hand is reminding that right shoulder to stay low. My legs don't like this. I'm going back to crisscrossed. Nice work. I see some of you rotating your head over to the left, rotating it up towards the right. My fingers are starting to get a little tingly, so I know it's time to switch sides. I'm going to extend my left arm. Whenever you're ready to join me, relax the right hand back onto my lap and lean my head to the right. Yes. And you automatically feel that stretch in the top of the shoulder, upper trapezius. And you can add any one of those variations, or just maybe gravity is plenty today. So there's a gentle reminder for that left shoulder to soften. A more aggressive pull on the head where the right hand comes to the left ear and helps as there's a weight. Try some different angles, maybe looking up towards the left, looking down towards the right. Is one side tighter than the other? Pretty balanced today. Whenever you're ready, my fingers are starting to get that tingle, so I'm going to come back to center and just roll out those shoulders. Backwards and then forwards a little bit too. And then we'll do some wings. So bring the hands right up here onto your shoulders and make some big circles with those elbows. Nice job. And then go the other way if you haven't already. Lubrication, crunchy, crunchy. I can't hear yours, but I can hear mine. So nice work. I'd like to join on our back here and work with some pelvic tilts. So lay on your back. We'll just roll back onto our back here. And we're gonna just learn about some pelvic tilts. So first we'll start with some easy bridges. We want our feet flat, knees bent. We do want our knees separated here. So if you happen to have a yoga block, you could even put that yoga block between the knees or the thighs. I just like to try to keep my knees in alignment with the ceiling. I'm going to push down into my feet, into my heels. My hands are reaching down to that space too. And I'm lifting my butt, lifting up my thighs. So those thighs are really engaging. And then I'll drop back down. So that bridge is really good for our lumbar spine, our lower back. As you push back up into bridge, pushing up onto your feet, activating the thighs, you're actually decompressing your spine because you're technically inverted right now. Your hips are higher than your heart. Lower it back down. Let's do a couple of those. You can work with your breath. Inhaling, squeeze it up. Exhale, lower down. Couple more, just at your own pace. Nice. Now I'm going to have you just lower your back onto the floor, and this is where those really simple pelvic tilts are going to happen. So it's not much of a movement. So what we're doing is dropping our back into the floor. That means you're going to be activating your core. Your tailbone lifts up. And then as you lower your tailbone, your low back kind of lifts up off the ground. So you're literally just rocking on your sacrum, flat back. That's a posterior tilt. And then lift that lower back, tailbone towards the floor for an anterior tilt. Nice. That is so important in so many of our yoga postures, so many of them. So it's a really foundational posture to get down. Nice work. And it's going to keep your low back really, really healthy and your pelvis really healthy so that, you know, as we all are getting older, we all are every day, we're aging at the same rate. It's going to help us to stay sturdy on our feet and keep strong in our core. Nice work. Come back to neutral. Rock your knees to the right and to the left a couple times for some window wipers. Nice. As I do that, it feels really good in my hips, like in my glutes, because I'm kind of like massaging those muscles into the floor with my bones. Nice work. Now I'm going to have us do a couple more bridges. This time I'm going to add a little challenge, but if those original bridges were challenging enough, just stick with those. So let's do 3 regular bridges. Feet flat, knees bent, knees separated, just lifting up through the hips. Maybe you reach your hands up to the sky as your hips lift up off the ground. And then we'll lower down with an exhale, hands lower as well. Do 2 more of those. One more, lifting those hips, rolling bridges is what those are called. Now I'm going to challenge you to raise your right foot towards the ceiling. Try it again. Lift up through your left leg. Oh, that's hard. Drop it down. Keep that leg lifted. We can do 2 more of those. That's hard. I haven't done those in a long time. Let's try it on the other side. This leg will be probably stronger. So right foot to the mat, left foot to the sky. Try it. Try to push into your right foot, lift it up. I feel those hamstrings shaking on my body. My body's like, what are you doing? You haven't done this in so long. Nice. Lower it back down. Let's pull our knees to our chest and give ourselves a hug. Maybe rocking your back into the mat a little bit. Massaging your back. Nice work. Feel free to stay on your back if you need more time. You can be creative if you like and just continue to stretch. I'm going to have us reach our hands behind our knees, extend your legs, and then we're going to kind of just rock to our sits bones and back to our back, vertically rocking, so that eventually we get the momentum to come up to seated. And I'm just going to flip-a-roo onto hands and knees here. We're going to make our way up to standing. So I'm just doing this the nice, gentle yoga way, coming up to hands and knees. I'm going to tuck my toes and lift up into that first downward dog of the day. This is a really nice pose just to assess how the hands are feeling, how the shoulders are feeling today. How are your legs? How are your calves? Can you stretch those calves a little deeper by pressing the heels one at a time towards your mat? Nice. Now this too is an inversion because your hips are higher than your heart. So just by doing this pose, you're getting some decompression in your back. Suck it in, activate the core, look towards your hands and start to walk forward. Walk your hands back to your feet if you need. And then we're just kind of hanging out, and some of us are gonna love this pose and some of us are not gonna like this pose for our back. So if you like to just hang, just hang. And if it doesn't feel good, start to roll up. That's where we're gonna go next. So I'm just gonna slowly start to roll up. And again, you have my permission to just stay as long as you need, just dangling. Now, as you roll up, you'll have to adjust everything, your hair, out of your mouth, your clothes. I do anyway. And then we'll come back to Samastiti, just our original standing position. Noticing if we're putting more pressure in one hip or more in one foot, excuse me. Shoulders back, head lifted. And even while I'm here, I'm trying to lift with my crown, lift with my third eye, lift with my heart, and lift with my navel. While on the back side of my body, the shoulders are lowering and backing down, so they're squeezing back and down. The tailbone is reaching down to my heels. So everything on the front half is kind of lifting while everything on the back half is lowering or grounding. One more breath right here. Exhale, hands to the sides, Tadasana, mountain position. And let's sweep our hands up to the sky. Bend through your knees. Keep your hands lifted high. Bend through those knees. This is your chair position. I'm going to separate my feet a little bit wider while I'm in chair position. I want to look down, make sure I can see my toes, my big toes, and then I'm going to look forward. And you're going to feel that burning in your knees and in your quads. So we don't want our knees to be going like this. We want them to stay separated right over top our ankles. It's burning, I know, so are mine. Bend through the core, belly on your thighs for the forward fold. You can work your hamstrings here if you want to, straightening one leg, straightening the other. Maybe you're doing that alternating. Maybe you like to simultaneously straighten both legs. Lots of different ways to make this a unique practice for each of us. And it should be unique because we all need different things. Nice work, everyone. Let's lift up about halfway to our ankles, our shins, our knees, our thighs. Really stretch out through your spine here so that your neck is getting longer, your tailbone's reaching back. Suck it in one more time, activate your core, and then we'll bend through those knees. Step the left foot back first. Drop to your hands. Step the right foot back, downward facing dog. Look back at those toes, pedal it out. We're moving slow here at first, honoring the body, tuning into what it is that we need. Now, some people do not like the vinyasa portion, so feel free to just stay here, build that strength, build it in the core and the hands. Next up in this sequence is your plank position, which is known as upward plank. Urdhva Dandasana. Then we'll drop to our knees for beginners, untuck the toes, and start to lower down. That's a hard move. Then next up is a heart lift. So just activating is fine. Pushing your belly into the mat, squeezing those elbows in. It's going to really activate your low back. I'm going to start to push into my hands for cobra. I'm just not ready for upward dog. Let's lower back down. Now, even if you just look forward, that lower back area is going into a back bend. So let's bend it the other way. Let's go into child's pose, hands and knees. Separate those knees, round up through your back, and maybe your hips slide back to your heels. Puppy pose is a great option here too. And if that doesn't feel good on your knees or on your back, then maybe you go back to laying on your belly for your resting posture. Remember our big belly breath that allows our metabolism to really be ignited, to make space for our digestive organs. So while we're here, you can feel your belly press into your thighs. There's no room for it to really expand. So our back body has to expand. Notice that for a breath, maybe another if you like it. And when you're ready, I'll meet you in downward facing dog. So take your time getting there. If you want to rest here for a long time, you're welcome to. I'm just going to roll up to hands and knees, realign those knees into center, tuck the toes, and roll back up onto my hands. Start to pedal it out a little bit here. Those calves are starting to warm up a bit more, so that's nice to not have them so tight. We'll do a little assessment here. Right leg, let's reach it up to the sky. Look back at your left foot as you do that. Try to do the splits. Nice. We'll try it on the other side. The right foot comes back down. Other foot will lift up to the sky. Nice. Do the splits. Getting that hamstring stretch, that hip flexor stretch, and we'll bring it back down. Look towards your hands. A big step. 10 little steps, a hop forward if that's where you're at in your practice. When you get to your forward fold, just standing forward fold, bend your knees, lift halfway. Big inhale. As you exhale, back to the forward fold. Just let everything go. If that doesn't feel right for your back, don't feel like you need to stay there. You can always roll up way before I give the cue to. Let your head go if you're still dangling. Nice. I'm going to reach my arms straight forward. You could reach out to the side, press into your feet, and slowly roll all the way up. Hands will reach over our head and back down to our heart center. Take a couple breaths as you reground and kind of just come back to the body. And it's okay if you're not doing exactly what I'm doing. It's okay if you're resting. I used to have this guy when I taught at the yoga room right here in Woodland Park. And he would come to my gentle yoga class and lay on his yoga mat for the whole hour. And he's like, I'm still doing it. I'm just visualizing the yoga. And I'm like, that is so awesome. And he was very dedicated to his visual yoga practice. So I think there's benefit to all of it. And if your body is asking to rest today, then you tried. We're trying and we need to rest. I'm going to do another sun salutation, but this time when we get to that second downward dog, I'm going to step the right foot forward into lunge. So let's inhale right here. Exhale, Tadasana, mountain position. Inhale, sweep those hands up to the sky. I'm going to separate my feet a little bit, bend my knees, and sit into my chair, because this is how we're going to get strong legs, strong knees, and keep our knees really strong so that they don't get wobbly on us. Inhale, exhale, fold over the thighs. Lengthen your legs on your way if you like to. And if you need a couple rounds of just bending, straightening each leg, that's really good for those hamstrings. It's also good for our lower back, but it does shift the hip a little bit there too. So just noticing if that causes any kind of crazy sensation or something that's not normal in the body. Nice. Lifting halfway with your next inhale, flattening the back. This is like a readjustment of the spine. It kind of resets our spine in the right, in that column. One more breath, kind of suck it in, activate the core, and then rebend those knees. Let's step the right foot back first. Set your palms, fingers spread, step the left foot back, downward dog. Yeah. And then we'll pedal that out if it feels right. I just have a habit of doing that, and I know I've passed that on to a lot of you. Look from your toes to your hands, roll forward. Let's hang in a plank pose. You can drop to your knees if you want to in plank. I'm going to take another breath. I'm noticing a spot on my mat here. I'm just kind of staring down at that so that I'm not looking up at all of you. And then I'm going to lower down to my knees and all the way, bending through my elbows to my belly. That's a heart lift from here. So if you don't like that heart lift, it hurts your back. Don't feel like you need to. We're going to go to child's pose next. So I lower back down, relax my glutes, relax my legs, and press up into that child's pose, sliding my hands back. You got it. Take those belly breaths, pressing into the thighs. Nice job. All right, let's roll it back up, and we're going to move into our lunges from here. So I'm resetting my knees, resetting my hands in this tabletop pose, tucking the toes, rolling back up to that downward facing dog. It's a nice setup for where we're going. Let's reach our right leg again, way up towards the sky. Look towards your hands. Try to step your right foot forward, more forward than your left foot. It doesn't matter if you go that far, though. We're going to make adjustments. So I'm separating my feet on my yoga mat so that I'm not on a tight rope. I want to be on separate lanes on the yoga mat. Then I'm going to start to press my hands up to the top of my right knee. Nice work. Woo, I've got to find a little spot on the mat, or I often use this corner of my yoga mat as my drishti. So I'm just staring down at that because people move and we don't want to stare at something that's moving. From there, when you feel balanced, you can lift your hands to your heart center or up to the sky. That's where we're headed. So with this left leg back, you should feel the stretch right here in your hip flexor. You're also feeling probably some burning going on right here as those muscles are getting stronger. I'm going to start to look up. Nice work. Start to float back down towards the mat, and we are going to step up onto this front right foot, lifting our back left leg into the air. Nice. It's called Assisted Warrior 3. So if you want to not be assisted, then you try to balance on just your right foot. And that's really hard. Nice job. Okay, downward dog. Step that left foot all the way back. Ground your mat or your hands in your mat, excuse me, and then step the right foot back. You got this, downward dog. Nice. If you need a child's pose, join me. I'm going to relax in child's pose because my right leg was burning. And I know I'm going to make that happen in the left side here too. So I'm just like, hold on, take a break for a minute before you create that burn. But that burn is our metabolism. This warmth that you feel in your body, that's our metabolism. We're getting it going. And when we can even break a sweat, that's when you know you're really, really working through and starting to ignite that metabolism and burning fat in your body and building muscle. Let's get this left side done so we can lay on the floor. Roll up when you're ready. Readjust your knees, your hands, tuck your toes. We'll meet in downward dog. From here, the left leg raises up to the sky as high as we can, and then stepping our left foot forward, more forward than the right. I try to step it between my hands. It comes with time. That took me a long time to get. From here, I'm going to work my way up, staring down at my drishti. So I've got my spot that I stare at, so I'm not looking at anyone moving, just this thing on my mat that does not move. When you've got that engagement and you want to rise up, if you do, then you'll just try to lift your hands to your heart away from that left knee. And it's okay if you just stay on your knee today. Nice work. Adjusting, adapting the posture for whatever you need. Hands might reach up to the sky. Notice I always bend a little deeper into the pose, and that gets things really burning. So I can really feel this leg shaking. I'm getting warm, and I'm just gonna lower back down. Bring your fingertips to the mat. Try to step up onto the left foot. So for me, I have to step my right foot in halfway, get my balance on my fingertips, and then I can raise that foot up into the air. So right foot in the air, left foot on the floor. It's burning. Stay as long as you like. Step back to down dog whenever you're ready. Nice. I bring my fingers back down, step that right foot all the way back, ground through my palms, left foot back, downward dog. And a child's pose, or a puppy pose, or if you're like, no, Shavasana. We will go to Shavasana here in a moment. But if you're like, no, I'm going now, you go for it. I support your journey. Great work. From here, let's roll it back up. We will be going onto our back from here. So I'm just gonna walk my knees to one side of the mat, drop my hips to the opposite, and swivel around. If you've got, props around, you'll just have to move some things out of your way here. Okay. So I'm gonna do a reclined lunge because I don't want to make your work any harder. So all I'm going to have you do is pick your right foot up off the ground and pull your right knee to your chest. It's okay if you grab onto the top of your knee or behind your knee if you like. The left leg, you can put your left foot flat on the mat, or I'm going to lengthen my left leg all the way so that my left heel is on the floor and my right leg is pulled up to my chest. So this is a reclined lunge. You're doing a lunge right here in this position. You should feel maybe your right, groin, left hip flexor. I'm going to invite you into a half happy baby. So I'm using my right hand to grab onto the inside of my right foot, my right big toe, the right heel. The outside of the right foot is fine. And then what I'm going to try to do is almost like extend my leg, but my arm won't let my leg go that far. So now my right leg is at a right angle. And it kind of looks like my foot is stepping up on the ceiling from my vision. That's called half happy baby. So if any of you, I think all of you had babies, then you will know, like when the baby first finds their feet, they're just playing with their feet. It's so sweet. So this is half of that. Let's try it on the other side. So I'm going to remove my right hand, put my right foot back down on the floor, walk my left foot back up. So I'm in this just basic feet flat, knees bent. And then I'm going to pull my left knee up to my chest and extend my right leg all the way so that my right leg is straight. Just hang out here. It's almost like a reclined lizard pose. And when you're ready to move into that half happy baby, then your left hand is going to grab onto your left foot somewhere. The heel, the inner arch, the big toe. Traditionally, it would cross the front of the ankle and grab onto like the pinky edge of your foot. Pulling your left knee back and down into the outside of your left rib cage, left armpit. If your eyes are open, it might look like your foot's kind of stepping up on the ceiling over there. Nice work. Release whenever you're ready. If you'd like to do both feet at the same time, that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to pull both knees into my chest, rock from side to side a little bit, and then reach up each hand for its respective foot. Right hand, right foot, left hand, left foot. At first, my feet might be together, knees apart, like a Baddha Konasana. And then as I separate my feet, woo, I feel that outer hamstring. Yeah, it's big. That's the outer hamstring on the outside of your thigh back there. Oh, I'll tell you, it's actually called biceps femoris longus and brevis, just in case you wanted to know. There's 4 of those hamstrings, 2 outer, 2 inner. Feet together, knees apart for a reclined Baddha Konasana. And then I'm going to challenge myself to go into a waterfall position. So I'm just going to send my feet up to the ceiling. It's kind of hard. My core has to engage to keep my legs up there. My quads have to engage. But I'm just going to give my body a couple moments to just kind of lay with my feet up in the air. This is an inversion. Legs are higher than the heart. So this challenges our nervous system, but also our circulatory system, as usually we're standing on our feet and all the blood is pooling to our feet. And so now we're challenging the system to work in the opposite direction. When you need to, bend your knees, give yourself that hug once again. Maybe doing some rocking. Circles with the knees and the hips. And then we'll bring our legs down and adjust our legs into just a resting position. That could just be feet flat, knees bent, or just laying flat on the floor. Reach the arms out. Today we've got plenty of room, so teeing the arms out if you have the space. Rotating your palms up and rotating your palms down. Is there a way that feels better? Maybe sliding your arms down towards your body a little bit more. Let's just take about 3 or 4 minutes to just rest and just lay on the mat and adjust your position to however you need to suit your body the best. And then make any adjustments and start to breathe again, back to where we began. Remember that big belly breath where we expand the stomach, make room for our organs. And then as we exhale, it almost compresses to push all of that air out. I quickly notice that my mind goes somewhere else other than breathing, and I lose sight of that deep belly breath pretty much right away. So you're not alone. And so that is the magic moment of, it's really like this is meditation, is guiding our mind back to that thought of breath or the prayer or the intention, the goal. And prayer works so well. You can always come back to that prayer, whatever it is that you're working with right now. listening to your own inner guide. And so that means if your body's saying, this is uncomfortable, I need to move, then you should. Or if your body says, I need more time to just lay here and rest, then you should. There's no shame or guilt or judgment, not from me. What I'll start to do is just roll my head from right to left so that I'm bringing some movement into my cervical spine. And then I'm going to reach my arms back out to the sides, but I'm going to bend my elbows so that my hands, my fingers are reaching up almost like goalposts. And then I'm going to externally rotate my bones and then internally rotate. So that we've got like a internal and external rotation here of our upper arm bones. So we're kind of taking those arms and waving them back and waving them forward. And then I'll bring my hands onto my belly and walk my feet up a little closer towards my body and rock the knees from side to side, crack, pop. Everything starts moving again, and doing some window wipers. And if you like a twist, maybe you keep your knees over to the right the next time you go and just let them rest to the right. And then let them rest to the left for a moment or two, if you like that, if it feels good for your back. You'll have to choose if you'd like to roll to a side here, or if you just want to roll right up to a seat. I'm going to roll to my right side today so that my left nostril is up to the ceiling because it's my day off. And so if I had stuff to do, I would probably roll onto my left side. So this just allows me to get into maybe some relaxation mode, and I'll peel myself up back to center where we began. Now I can't tell you exactly how to move, but I can tell you that it's blissful to match your breath with your movements. And I can't tell you exactly how to sit, but I can tell you that it takes time to come to a seat. I can't tell you how to yoga, but I can tell you that it's meant to be lived. It's not just this 1 hour on our mat. We're meant to learn how to expand our yoga mat to the entire surface of the planet. So what can we take from our practice? How can we apply that to our daily life? Stay breathing, stay grounded and centered, even as we walk out, even as we step off the mat, drive down the road, and have conversations with others. For me, I think yoga has taught me how to respond and react in a more gentle way and keep breathing. For this moment, have gratitude for your body because it has the ability to feel. And sometimes the feelings aren't blissful and amazing, but they're just letting us know what we need more of, what we need time for, what's important. Gratitude for your mind that got you here today. Thank you for rolling out the mat with me. Thank you for honoring your inner guide and allowing me to be your visual guide. I bow to you.